I'm still here with Lou Dobbs, and look who just joined us. The British politician Nigel Farage, the guy who is credited with having the UK exit the EU. No one said that. People never thought it was going to happen, and what do you know, it did. Kind of like people saying Donald Trump would never be the Republican nominee, and yet here we are tonight. Are there a lot of similarities, Nigel, between us and you guys right now?
Yeah, there are. I mean, one of the things that happened was that London, a professional political class living in London, kind of had lost touch with ordinary people out there, particularly in the rest of England and Wales. That's the first similarity. I think in Washington, there's a feeling many in Washington don't really get what Middle America's been living through for the last few years. That's the first one. The second one, I'm less sure of, we'll see. But the reason we won the Brexit vote is the experts said the turnout would be 58-60%. It was 73%.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of people who had never voted in their lives literally were turning up at polling stations and saying, what do we do? How do we vote? And that's because we inspired them. We said to them, look, by voting for this, you can change your lives, you can make things better. And the question is, can Trump reach that blue-collar vote in America who's not had it good for the last few years? And if he can, he'll win.
In other words, this crosses party lines.
I think it does. And I mean, you know, for us, our vote was coming as much from the left of politics as it was from the right of politics. And if I'm right, didn't Ronnie Reagan do a bit of this sort of 35 years ago?
Well, and Nigel is being modest by not mentioning his dressing down of the European Parliament. He'll go down in history as the guy who led the Brexit and made possible the freedom and independence of the UK. But I've got to tell you, for some of us, that moment in which you simply took apart the European Union Parliament and exposed their arrogance. It was a magnificent moment, and I've just got to say thank you for that and compliment you. In addition to, of course, achieving UK independence once again.
Well, you know what? I turned up there. We just won a referendum, and far from learning a lesson, all they wanted to do was scream abuse at me. So I thought, you know what? You're going to get some of it back, guys, and they did.
You know, the similarities are striking. It's as though the entire world has said, enough with the elite, enough with the people that don't understand what it's like to struggle.
Well, I mean, what's happened is we've gone into this period where the big corporates, big business and big politics operates together. We're not living in free market capitalism. We've moved away from that. And what we've seen is the rich get richer.
So it's crony capitalism. It's not free market capitalism.
Absolutely. In my view, absolutely. And for ordinary people, their living standards have been going down, not up. So there is something wrong here. We've got to do something about it.
It's extraordinary that Donald Trump, who we're watching be celebrated as the party's nominee here tonight, this man has connected with the very people you're describing. Working men and women, our middle class. You know, by the way, I'm from a generation of Americans who said, you know, we were raised to think there isn't such a thing as class in America. Now, group and identity politics talk about, you know, if this is a revolution to return to the values that made the country great. Respect for one another, dignity in every job. It's an exciting moment for us. Whether Donald Trump can carry that through to victory in November, we'll be finding out. But there's an excitement that is showing up in the polls and showing that he can win.
In some ways, this had to happen. In other words, the pendulum had swung so far in favor of political correctness, handouts, etc., that the people are saying, enough. We need to take our country back.
But it's also careerism. You know, so many people in Western politics now, they dream about being politicians when they're at school and college. They go into it. And one of the reasons they don't confront tough issues is they don't want to take risks. Getting re-elected